I want to go over why these cheek pistols are my preferred PDW setup over the traditional PDWs and even the micro PDW stuff. Number one, as you can see how I have this slung, it's concealment. It's very easy for me to take a gun this size, so the CP33 and the B&T TP9 being the two best candidates that I've found. I can put both those guns on a similar underarm sling, not a single point sling, but like a true Soviet Krink underarm sling, and make them disappear under a jacket. It is almost impossible to do that with any of the other traditional PDWs. Yes, it has been done with the MP7. We know about that because those guys got busted concealing it. So we saw, right? I'm talking about the jackets flopping open for some of the Secret Service guys. It can be done, but this pistol and the B&T TP9, which is essentially identical in size, but just a little bit thicker, this is significantly smaller than the two guns that are most commented about are why wouldn't you do a P90 or an MP7 over this. So obviously, if you've ever shot or held a P90, you know that they are not small guns, nor are they lightweight guns. To try and sling a P90 like this, you're gonna have to have a very long jacket, and it's a bulky ass gun. It's a no-go for any outfit that I would wear. And for the MP7, people say, oh, the MP7 is really tiny. All right, guys, here is the CP33, and here is an MP7 clone, right? Do you see how huge this thing is compared to the CP33? It's not even close. So we know that some guys have been able to do exactly the same sling technique I'm using here with the MP7, but oh man, they're having to build special stuff around that and suits that are, not very comfortably done, not easy to conceal, right? So concealment isn't there. Also, being able to comfortably rest my arms by my side with this and the TP9 is easy because of the length and the layout of that gun. It works really well. This sling, something you guys will probably see on the website pretty soon, is specifically designed for these guns. Concealment is doable with these in pretty normal clothing. Any jacket will go over this and disappear. If you have this slung or holstered, because I actually can holster this, I have a holster for this and the TP9, it's doable. And the presentation is really straightforward. If I have a jacket over this, sweep the jacket, come up, and I can get on target really easily. Even single-handed, I can get on target very easily. I'll say more about that in a second. Presentation is very simple. There's just one movement, boom, straight to the cheek, and you don't have to mess around with finding a dot like you do on a pistol or mounting, well, first deploying and then mounting a stock. This is just up to the cheek. As soon as the index point touches your cheek, you have visibility to your optic. You can see the dot. Not so with any stocked gun. I'll talk more about that in a second too, but presentation is the fastest here. This is the fastest from hands-off gun to a first shot that I have found in a PDW format. Maneuverability with these guns. So with any of these guns that are running off of the cheek, it's going to be more maneuverable than anything run off of the chest, obviously, right? So when I run any gun off of the cheek, I am getting a very upright position, and a lot of barriers that are like mid or chest height barriers are no longer a problem. I can get up over those. I also have the ability to lean easier because the gun is mounted to my head and can be that extra little couple of inches on that pivot arm that is my torso. It's easier for me to move around obstacles with this and get a gun on target around things with a cheek weld. Now, can you do that with something like P90 and an MP7? Okay, so the P90, one of the drawbacks that bullpups have is sometimes, depending on the magazine and the ejection design, they're very difficult to run from a compressed or collapsed position. Now the MP7, you could just break that over your shoulder and do the old school short stocking technique that's so popular with shotgun use. But you're not gonna have an eye on your optic if you're doing that, and the need to do that does exist. An MP7 with the stock extended is just barely short enough for me to clear a standard 30-inch door frame sideways. So why is that important? Because long hallways exist, guys, flat out, and hard corners exist. Even if you pie the entire room, there ain't no way you're pieing on a center fed room the two hard corners. And on a corner fed room, you've got the one hard corner. That's the whole tactics of flooding a room is based on a lot of that hard corner stuff. But for long hallways, you have an extra special problem because it's a good ambush site, right? If you're a bad guy, you know good guys are coming from one way, you've got a long hallway to deal with. Laying at the end of a hallway is a good tactical move for you to have the best setup to shoot whoever's coming into that hallway. So being able to slow clear a door and slow push that door with your eye on the optic and not being impeded by having your muzzle bang against the door frame or having to squish your shoulder against the back of the door frame, that's a big deal. And with the MP7 being basically the shortest platform with a stock to do so, and a medium-sized guy like me barely being able to do it with no kit on, it means that if I put on any kit, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to do the traditional method where my muzzle is going to lead into that room first, which is suboptimal, right? I want to have a firing solution before the other guys does. I want to have the visibility on the guys first, or at least at the same time, and this gets you more compact to go around that corner through a doorway than anything else that I've found. The only other technique that I've seen come close to this is one that I've seen from Craig Douglas with the AMIS curriculum that he does with some of the compressed pistol techniques that he does there. It's similar. So the main difference though is this is giving you a third point of contact with the ability to brace your arms against your body, and I can easily make shots with this technique out to 150 yards from this very compact position. So maneuverability is big. Another one is single hand use and the ability to keep this gun up and fire this gun while doing something with my offhand. It's really easy with this. You can do it with a pistol, but it's actually easier to do it with this gun than even a pistol. Can you do it with rifles? Sure, you can, but most of even the PDWs are balanced in a way where it is difficult and suboptimal to make those shots. I feel like I don't lose very much at all when I take my support hand off of this gun, at least in my ability to make a single precision shot. Really what I'm gaining here is just a little bit of muzzle stability for these. And well, we're shooting 22 or we're shooting 9mm in these guns, so not a lot to contend with anyway. I feel like there is significantly more recoil impulse and more effort required to control that from a single hand use of any of the stocked PDW variants that I've tried. So the Scorpion, some of the 9mm ARs, etc. So single hand use is a big deal there. Here's a really big one though, and this is why I prefer this concept, the way of running these guns, over any other gun. This is the biggest deal, is the relationship between your eye and the optic is constant with a cheek pistol. And it's the only gun that I found that gives you a constant relation between the eye and the optic. Whether I am on the gun, up and ready to fire, or I avert my muzzle so I am not flagging non-threats, I still have the ability out of my peripheral vision to see the dot through the tube here. So I can be muzzle compressed, still very, very tight, could squeeze past a door, even a door that's partially obstructed with, you know, like bad guy shit that they do, pushing desks and chairs and tables and shit in front of doors. You can squeeze through that stuff while having a gun up like this, single-handed while dealing with that stuff, muzzle averted, and the entire time I have the dot in my peripheral vision. So if the time comes where I need to get on target, very, very fast for me to swing that gun up and take that shot. If you've run a dot on a pistol at all, you know the sooner you see the dot, the faster that you can make the shot. And that concept still applies to all guns, rifles included. The problem with a stock is when you brace a gun against your chest or shoulder, your head is not married to the optic. We know this, right? Because that's why you have to get a cheek weld on the stock. And to get a cheek weld on the stock, you either have to bring your head way down and assume this kind of tactiturtle slouched posture, or you have to bring that stock up and compress the gun in. Either way though, this relationship, because your head pivots independently of your torso, as soon as you start to move your head across your body, which you have to do in some cases, right? You are not always afforded the freedom to pivot at the waist. And in the scenarios where you have to make those fine adjustments, then the relationship between the optic and your eye is no longer constant. So having that constant relationship here allows me to, without pivoting my waist, achieve almost a 180 in movement. Now, if I plant my feet and incorporate pivoting at the waist, I have a huge amount of mobility here, guys. And mobility is king when you're talking about cramped environments and moving fast. You have an incredible amount of travel when you marry that gun to the cheek instead of to your body. So those are the biggest reasons why I like this platform and why I wouldn't go to a stocked variant. Guys, if you feel like you need a stock to control the recoil of 9mm or 5.56, do some more training. I saw a couple folks saying that it would be hard to do this with anything other than 22. Guys, I just want to remind you, please go on to my channel and watch some of my shotgun stuff. I'm running 12 gauge shotguns with, and on some of these videos, 3-inch buck and full power slugs from a cheek weld only with shockwave style guns. So it's totally doable. Totally doable. All right, guys, thank you for watching. If you like this stuff, you know, all the buttons and stuff there. If you really like this stuff and you want some in-depth knowledge and some additional content from me on specifically how to run these guns, both the cheek pistol and the bird's head grip shotguns, as well as the deep concealment pistol work that I do, go on my Patreon and sign up. All of the patrons get the early access to all the videos, but they also get some special stuff that isn't available to everyone else. So that would be those training videos specifically are there for the patrons. Guys, thanks for watching.